Hello, you're watching VNews Broadcast Daily, and now headlines.
President Trương Tấn Sang heads to the U.S. for an official visit. National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng and President Park Geun-hye of the Republic of Korea pledged to boost strategic cooperation. Consumer Price Index hits a 5-month high in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City in July.
President Trương Tấn Sang and his entourage left Hanoi on July 23rd, heading to the U.S. for an official visit from July 24th to 26th at the invitation of President Barack Obama. While in the U.S., President Sang is scheduled to hold talks with President Obama. He will meet government and Congress leaders, business people, scholars, as well as war veterans and representatives of the Vietnamese community in the U.S. The next stages of the two countries' cooperation are expected to come out from the visit. And now, President Sang's visit has built up expectations of the future Vietnam-U.S. ties, which were told by the Vietnamese ambassador to the U.S., Nguyễn Quốc Cường, during his talk with the Washington-based correspondent of the Vietnam News Agency. We find out more. Ambassador Cường said he hopes for a new partnership framework between Vietnam and the U.S. to be agreed during President Sang's visit. Nearly 1 decade has passed since the two nations established the current framework of constructive, friendly partnership and multifaceted cooperation on the basis of equality, mutual respect and benefit. I believed that in light of the strong existing relations we share and the potential to strengthen them further, it's time to define a new bilateral partnership framework. The diplomat expressed his wish that President Sang and Obama would discuss the content of such an agreement. He remarked that the visit comes at a time when the two nations are diversifying their exchange channels in the drive for development. Over nearly past 20 years, the two nations have worked closely and effectively at regional and global forums. Economically, the U.S. has been the largest importer of Vietnamese goods since 2005, with a 100-fold increase in its imports within the last nearly 2 decades. Last year, 400,000 Americans visited Vietnam for business and tourism. Nearly 16,000 Vietnamese students are pursuing education in the U.S., doubling the figure of 2008 and more than any other Southeast Asian nation. Only friendship and equal and mutually beneficial cooperation in line with the United Nations Charter and international law, and respect for each other's political institution, independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity are the best way to move Vietnam-U.S. relations forward. During his ongoing visit to the Republic of Korea on July 23rd, National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng paid a cordial visit to President Park Geun-hye and met with executives of several business giants. We have more.
National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng and President Park Geun-hye pledged to boost the strategic cooperation between the two countries at their meeting in Seoul. Chairman Hùng said Vietnam will unceasingly step up its strategic partnership with the Republic of Korea. He expressed hopes that both sides will further economic ties and accelerate negotiations on a bilateral free trade agreement. President Park Geun-hye was delighted with the two countries' growing ties over the years. She asked the two sides to renovate policies and mechanisms for their businesses to increase investment. The same day, Chairman Hùng met Lee Yoo-hoon, chairman of the City Council of Yongin, which borders Seoul. Earlier, he also met with the executives of Lotte, the fifth largest conglomerate in the Republic of Korea, and Kumho Asiana Group. At these events, Chairman Hùng promised the creation of a favorable investment environment for Korean businesses in Vietnam.
Vietnam and Italy held their first strategic dialogue at ministerial level in Hanoi on July 22nd to seek ways to broaden wide-ranging cooperation. We see what has agreed.
The dialogue was co-chaired by Vietnamese Deputy Foreign Minister Bùi Thanh Sơn and his Italian counterpart Bruno Archi. They looked at specific measures to make bilateral cooperation in almost all fields, including politics, economics, education, defense and security, more practical. Bruno Archi said his country is willing to contribute to Vietnam's economic development, especially in infrastructure and manufacturing industry. The Vietnamese official pledged that favorable conditions will be created for Italian investors interested in oil and gas exploration, garments, footwear and wood product manufacturing and agriculture. Earlier, Foreign Minister Phạm Bình Minh received the Italian official.
Minister of Industry and Trade Vũ Huy Hoàng and his Haitian counterpart Winston Lalou inked a framework agreement on trade and investment in Hanoi on July 22nd. The document creates a legal scope for the two sides to further linkages.
At the signing ceremony, a representative from the Ministry of Industry and Trade said Vietnam is eager for working with Haiti in industrial and agricultural projects, especially rice export and garment making. The country will co-invest in infrastructure development projects in Haiti. Both sides will work on a legal framework that boosts trade and paves the way for Vietnamese businesses to take part in producing consumer goods and heavy industrial products in the Caribbean country. The Haiti side showed their interest in experience that Vietnam gained in reforming financial policy. They pledged to facilitate Vietnamese businesses setting up distribution outlets in the country. In the first 5 months of this year, Vietnam earned over $20 million from exports to Haiti, up 355% from a year ago. Rice machinery and mobile phones are the country's main export lines.
Authorities of Central Thanh Hóa Province on July 22nd handed over the land use rights certificate and construction permit to the Nghi Sơn Refinery and Petrochemical Complex project. The complex is around 200 kilometers south of Hanoi.
The Nghi Sơn Petrochemical Complex has a total investment of $9 billion. Covering 400 hectares of land in the Nghi Sơn Economic Zone, it is capable of producing 10 million tons of crude oil per year. It is one of Vietnam's key projects on national energy security and development strategies. Its contractors include JGC Corporation and Chiyoda of Japan, the Republic of Korea's GS Engineering and Construction Company, France Technip France, and Technip Geo Production from Malaysia. Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee, Mai Van Ning, said his province will effectuate its commitments with the complex, the contractors, Japanese and Kuwaiti investors. He also asked the investors and contractors to make full use of their capacity and experience to put the complex into operation soon. Once commissioned in mid-2017 as scheduled, the Nghi Sơn complex is the second oil refinery after the Dung Quất plant in central Quảng Ngãi province.
Figures from the General Statistics Office show that consumer price index hit a 5-month high in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City in July. We take a look at why this has happened. In Hanoi, CPI in July rose 0.22% over June. Prices of all 11 CPI goods increased, of which transport costs rose the most, by more than 1%. The rise followed a decision to allow petrol prices to go up $420 to $430 per liter on June 16. July's prices of housing, power, fuel and construction materials in Hanoi saw a rise of 0.66% against last month in the wake of the petrol price hike. With this month's rise, the capital CPI was up 5.97% against the same period last year. In Ho Chi Minh City, CPI edged up by 0.17% in the month. This caused the city's CPI to increase 0.96% against December last year and 3.54% over the same period last year. Transport also saw the highest rise, 1.3% in the city. food restaurant, cultural entertainment, garment textiles, hats and footwear also crept up between 0.1% and 0.4%. And thus the news from Hanoi. I'm Bảo Ngọc. Thank you for tuning in and see you next time.